Title: Caught in a Web of Deceit. Unveiling a Betrayal. It's about 4 p.m. My wife showed up at the house and found out about the locks. She started banging on the door and yelling. I didn't answer. She tried calling again. I turned my ringer off. Then she broke a window and left. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing well. We are back with another story, guys. I will put the link to this in the description like usual. You guys read the title. Let's get into it. So, need to vent. He starts off sitting here at work, just pissed off. I haven't seen much of my son this year, didn't get him for the summer because of this dang virus. I'm pissed about that. Found out at the end of September that wife of 5 years is cheating on me. I have spent most of my time doing the FBI thing, which has been a giant can of worms with no apparent bottom. I've had this nasty woman in my house, and I have to sit there and pretend that nothing is wrong when I just want to throw everything at her and kick her out. My lawyer just keeps telling me not yet. I haven't slept in my bed in almost 2 months. I'm gonna burn that when she's gone. Have had no sex, which has caused her to accuse me of cheating. If she tries to hug me or kiss me, I have to sit there and take it when it makes me want to vomit. When I look at her, I see bugs crawling all over her. I want her gone, but it's just not yet, not yet, not yet. There's not much left to burn on my fuse. It's like being locked in a big room with someone, and there's just a table there, and the room echoes, and they start tapping on the table and tapping until you just want to flip the table and strangle them. I can't even talk to anybody about it right now because not yet, not yet, not yet. I'm angry at myself and disappointed in myself for putting myself in this position to let someone do this to me again. I just want this to be over, and I miss my son. Wow, let me just go straight to these comments here before I go to the updates. So he's in the comments here saying some good news. Was Skyping with my son earlier. Mike's girlfriend wandered into the conversation. She told me I look like crap, told her I'm in a dark place, miss my son, and really have no one right now. She called me back a little later and was asking me to come up for Thanksgiving, so I'm stoked. Just have to fight with the witch about why I won't be going with her to her parents for the holiday, but I'm leaving at 3 a.m. It's a long drive, and it's 4 days I won't have to look at her. Having been in the same room with my kids since April, not passing this up. Someone said, have a good visit, and okay. So, someone's asking just a question. This ex-girlfriend is different from the first wife, though, right? He responds and says, yes, completely different in every way. First wife is a bad, distant memory. Ex-girlfriend and I are on good terms. Someone said, is your ex-girlfriend's husband the guy she cheated on you with? He's replying, no, my ex-girlfriend and I split because I couldn't pull the trigger. I had trust issues for a long time after my first marriage. After 6 years, 4 of them with a child together, she didn't want to live that way anymore, and we split up. Those were the best 6 years of my life. Still love that woman. We have a good relationship. She found a fella after we split when she moved back north. Okay, so your child is with your ex-girlfriend, but you're living with your wife who you want to divorce. Alright. Let's go ahead and jump to the updates here. Alright, so we have a first update here. Let's see. Almost lost my resolve. He starts off with an update. I'll also provide some background as my wife's browsing history, yes, I am spying, shows she hasn't used Reddit in 6 months. Honestly, at this point, I don't even care. I'm white-knuckling it right now. Anyone who has found out and said nothing until they serve their cheating piece of crap, you have my admiration. This is effing hard. I got home late Sunday. This was good. I really didn't want to see or talk to her. I was tired. Went to my chair and slept. I haven't slept well in 2 months. I've lost 15 pounds. I look and feel like crap, but it was the first 8 hours I had gotten in a while. Monday, my wife tried to initiate some intimacy. I just cannot get it up for this woman. My Johnson is up bright and early before me every morning, so this is nothing physical with me. It's just that, For once, my D is in total agreement with my mind and heart. This really upset her, and we got into a pretty heated argument. I told her maybe it was something wrong with me. I'm 50 years old. This ish happens. She started insinuating again that I am cheating on her. She said that I'm not being a good husband. I haven't asked her in over 2 months. I haven't told her I loved her in over 2 months. Clearly, I'm doing something behind her back. I mean, she tried to gaslight the ish out of me. Yeah, I was doing something behind her back. I was piecing everything together. D-Day for me was September 25th. I work in collision repair. Specifically, I work on vehicles that are considered train wrecks. September 25th, I wound up cutting my leg open on a truck I was working on. That was a trip to the emergency room. I got 5 stitches inside my leg and 34 stitches on the outside. It was pretty bad. I got put on some hefty painkillers, and there was no way I was going to drive, so I called my wife. No answer. Called 5 minutes later. No answer. Called again. No answer. Texted her, "Babe, pick up. I need you. Call me." Called her again. No answer. More text. Nothing. About an hour and a half of this. So I got an Uber to take me home. We turn onto my street, come in view of my house, and she is standing in our doorway, completely sucking face with the GM of where she works. I told the driver to stop. This wasn't a peck, folks. They were swapping spits. She was supposed to be at work. I pulled out my phone, took a couple of pictures, and told the driver to keep driving. I had him take me back to work. I sat there in the break room for 4 hours, head down on the table, numb, effing heartbroken. When the painkillers wore off, I drove home in pain from my leg and from everything going through my head. She wasn't home when I got there. She came home a couple of hours later. She acted all concerned. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't, I don't know. I was asking how her day was, and she made up some BS about work that day. I know it was BS. A week later, I learned for the first time that she hasn't worked a Friday in 3 years. I've never really used Reddit much. It was always there, but I had no real interest in it. She had not looked at our chat log at all. She was yelling at me that I need to be a better husband, that I'm not doing enough for her. I got so effing pissed. I grabbed my phone, opened the chat log, and shoved it in her face, showed her those unanswered texts. I rarely raised my voice, but I yelled at her that the one time I needed her to be there for me, I got ghosted. She pulled out her phone, looked, then she left the house for a couple of hours. Wow, when she came back, she apologized and then lied right to me. Let me tell you something. I've always thought Apple products are for idiots. They really are. Cheaters should probably start using Androids or something because Apple syncs across everything. I've learned she doesn't just dislike my son. She often hates that kid, probably because him being at my house in the summer was cramping her style. I've learned this affair has been going on for years. I've learned it's just not her boss. One of the men she has been effing has been someone I've worked with and co-hunt deer to get away for one weekend. I invited her. I always ask her to come whenever I go anywhere. She always declines. When I got back, I just watched this parade of men go through my house and F my wife. She didn't even shower and clean herself off between 2 of them. What a effing pig. Yeah, there's a camera in the bathroom too. Wow, same thing when I went to Chicago for Thanksgiving. She spent the whole weekend effing other men in my home, in my bed. For 2 months, I have kept this to myself until... I like to say she's pure evil, but I'm thinking she's got severe mental health problems. Certainly, she's a sociopath. Whatever. I did not sign up for this. It was very hard for me to ask her to marry me since my first divorce. I had a hard time believing that anything nice a woman said to me was what she really meant. I've chased off 2 fantastic women in my life because I was still effed in the head from my first wife, more so what I went through after the divorce. They know she didn't really love me. I got out of that marriage with $43 to my name. I didn't sign up for this. I want out. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Well, since that day, I have kept $43 in my wallet to remind me of the lowest I have ever been. I'm not saying that's where I am now, but I feel like I did after that. Yeah, I'm wiser and covered Maya this time, but you know, the first time I caught them in the act, had to do it the old-fashioned way, come home early from a trip, but it was over. The extent of the gaslighting was her saying it's not what it seems and then screaming at me to stop as I beat the ish out of my brother and make sure she remembers it. But the seconds seem like hours. I'm worn out. I have a constant headache. All the therapy I've gone through, it's all gone. Wow. You know, let's go to this next update. Alright, this was his latest update. It's done, served her yesterday. Nice. I had served her yesterday. For those asking, I wasn't in a good state of mind to write about it yesterday, still not really, but I will get it off my chest. I woke up and left the house, got myself some breakfast while waiting for lunchtime. I bought flowers and chocolates and went to her work. I went and gave her the flowers and candy and gave her a big hug and a kiss. She was all smiles and blushes. Her coworkers were doing the, "Oh, that's so sweet," thing. I told her that I would love to take her to lunch, but I had to go get a checkup on my leg, but to not make plans for the night because I wanted to give her a night she would remember. I gave her a goodbye kiss and started walking out. At this point, I'm going to start calling her Mrs. Work. Had I told her that my wife and her husband were having an affair? She didn't believe me. I showed her that first picture I took. She even slapped me. I just stood there, and she started crying. I gave her a thumb drive with everything pertaining to my wife and her husband that I had. I told her my wife was cheating on me with multiple men. Get checked for STDs. I gave her my lawyer's card and my number. Then she was asking why I was doing this to her, and, to be honest, why did I do that? I hurt her pretty bad before to get her clothes. Apparently, Featuring didn't tell her what I did right away, as I imagine he had his own problems at the moment. But my wife sent me a text a little later, mother effing me up and down for telling Mrs. Featuring. So he did tell her. My friend that covered up for my wife, gonna call her Amber, started calling me, so I answered. I answered with, "How long have you known that my wife and Featuring were having an affair? Please don't lie to me." And she told me what I suspected the whole time, since before my wife even started at her job. Wouldn't I be obligated to let her know something she should know? She said yes, so I hung up and sent her pictures my wife had taken of her and her husband and texted her back with my lawyer's number and said, "That's my lawyer. He has everything I know." Then I told her never to contact me again. It's about 4 p.m. My wife showed up at the house and found out about the locks. She started banging on the door and yelling. I didn't answer. She tried calling again. I turned my ringer off. Then she broke a window and left. Doesn't love them. It didn't mean anything. I just pointed at my lawyer's card. She said that it's her house too, and I can't kick her out of it. I told her it's my home, and that she literally effed herself out of it. This is when she got really loud. All the "I love yous" turned into "F yous." The deputies turned on their lights, and neighbors had come out to gawk at the train wreck. I remained fairly calm and had my hands at my side through this. She kept screaming at me. I think she might have been drunk. All that crap I should have been feeling for the last 2 months started to hit me. The ending of this story maybe I should leave to the discussion boards. Let me know what you think about this in the comments and I'll see you in the next post.